Hello everybody, my name is Kyle Lee, aka Kilo Loco from kiloloco.com, and today we're going to be going over encodable and decodable. Yeah, finally doing some Swift 4 stuff, nice and sexy stuff. We're going to get into it. We're going to be using Xcode 9 Beta 2, Swift 4, and JSON placeholder.typicode.com. This site lets you work with JSON whenever you're testing, using networking connections and stuff like that. The skill level that I have set is intermediate, just because you should be relatively familiar with doing networking requests. I'm going to go through everything, but I don't plan on explaining everything step by step, why I'm doing it, what I'm doing, and what's happening. And then you should understand how to convert JSON, not Sun. You should understand how to convert JSON into data models. We're going to be doing that. And then if you want the starter project, then make sure that you go to kiloloco.com/p for page and /YouTube, and you'll find the course there. You can enroll. It's completely free, and that's where you can get the starter project and the finished project so that you can reference the code. So yeah. All right, let's get into it. So for the starter project, all we have going right now is just regular button, send posts, get users, and then it's just connected. That's all we're going to be doing. What I'm going to be covering today is, first we're going to go over encodable, and I'm going to show you how to encode an object. We're going to go over how to do decodable, and then I'm going to also show you how to do nested encodable or nested decodable objects, so that you can see how everything works all together once it's done. So first we're going to do sending a post request to this to JSON placeholder.typicode, and if you want to see that website, let's go ahead and bring it up. So what happens is, when you send a post request to posts, what will happen is that it'll actually send you back what you sent it. So this is a good way to tell what's going on. First, I'm going to build out the whole networking request, just doing it regular. So let's go ahead and get into that right now. So first we want to do get our URL, let URL equal URL. And we're doing this from a string. And we're going to just get our stuff /posts, and we're going to copy that, bam, drop a S in there so that we don't have to play with any of that or any of those things in there, transport security and stuff like that. And then else return, baby. All right, so let's get our session going. Session equal URL session dot shared. That's going to be our session. We want to specify. First we actually have to enter in a request, right? Because we're doing a post, so we have to do the request. So let's get our request. Let request equal URL request. Initialize this bad boy with a URL, and then for our request, there's a couple of different things that we have to do. We have to set up the HTTP HTTP method. There we go, is equal to post, obviously. We also have to specify that we are sending it in, let's see, how do I want to say this? We're going to be sending it in JSON. So what we have to do, what is this HTTP method? Why are you, this has to be a variable. We also have to do request, so we have to set, we have to add a value, What's going on? It keeps complaining at me. It's throwing me off, man. Stop doing that to me, Xcode. You're throwing me off. All right. So what we want to do is we want to set for the content type. We have to say that it's JSON that we're going to be sending it. So application / JSON, right? For this is content type. Type. All right. And then what are we doing? Now we have to actually create that post. So let's see. Do, and we are going to, actually we don't need this right now. We could create the HTTP. I'm going to create the a basic post request without making an object first, so that we can see that everything's working and we could understand how this is gonna come back. So let's go ahead and do that. So let post dictionary shun array equal this. All right, so now we need to actually know what's going on with a post. So we want to be able to return all this back like a normal thing, right? So we want to have a user ID, a title, and a body. So let's go ahead and do all that. So user ID, an ID, a title, and a body. Right? So normally we would send it like this. So user ID, let's say it's 55. Post ID would be 126, right? Whatever. Title would be, hey there, if I know how to spell. Hey there, what are you doing this weekend, right? Something like that. And what we would do is we would convert this into JSON. So let's go ahead and do that. So do let JSON body equal try JSON serialization. All right, so now what we actually have to do is we want to do writing options. So what we can do is we're going to do the post dictionary dot post. All right, so we're going to be doing this. We're going to pass in our post dictionary. Bam. Writing options. We don't need any fancy writing options. We don't need that. All right. And we get in error, and we're not catching, that's why. So let's just say we're catching it supposedly. Then what we would do is we would do request dot HTTP body is equal to JSON body. And then with our session, we could actually do the task. So let's do let task equal session dot data task with request, and we want the completion handler, yes. And then we do enter. We're gonna get the data, and you know Kyle, he never goes over the response or the error. Bam, that's just the way I roll. Guard let data equal data else return, and then we want to serialize that data, don't we? We sure do want to serialize it into JSON. So what we'll do is, well, first we want to catch, because Xcode's a little baby and cries a lot. So we'll serialize that data. So we'll let JSON equal JSON serialization dot now we want our reading options from the data. We're going to pass in that data. Reading options Don't need anything in there. And then we'll just say print JSON. All right, so if that all works, and I have to do resume, right? So task.resume. If all this works, then we should, oh man, I forgot to try. Now, after I'm able to do the try, if this all works, we should be able to see all this stuff that we're sending to the API just come back, and it should just print out in our logs because we're just printing out that JSON, right? So let's send post, see if it works. And did it work? Yes, indeed it did. Yeah, see? Looking all nice, sexy, beautiful. This is how we do it. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually create an object that is encodable. So let's do that. And what are we gonna call it? Well, since it's a post, I think we're gonna call it post. Yeah, I think it's a pretty suitable name, right? So what we'll do, poop. I called it file, guys. I called it file. That's not right. Kyle, what are you doing? All right, we're gonna call it post. All right, so this is gonna be a struct. I'm gonna call it post. And then what do we have? Well, we have all these values right here. So let's just put them in. So let body be of type string, right? Let, whoa. Next line I said, let ID be of type int. Let title be of type string. I know these are all in a weird order, but it looks like they are alphabetical, so whatever. Let's do it that way. You don't have to do alphabetical. That's not mandatory. All right, so essentially this is what we want to send. This is what our post objects are made up of. So what we would want to do is when we go back to our view controller, we would want to create a post that has exactly all this same information. Maybe I'll just do like, the ID will be 127, right? And the title will be something different. So let new post equal, and this is going to be a post, right? And we have to initialize it. I didn't save, so gotta save it. Come on, save anyway. All right, so let's see, post. You're really not, oh, there we go. Autocomplete for the win. All right. This is sexy encoding, baby. All right, ID, what did we have? ID last time was 126. We'll do 127, just one increment of one, right? Title is encoding stuff. Yeah, and then user ID, we'll just say we're the same user. It doesn't have, it could be literally anything. But so what we're gonna do is we're gonna get rid of this, right? This is gone. So actually let's delete that. Because comments, they look so bad. All right, so now we got rid of that, right? So we no longer have the post dictionary, so that means we have to get rid of that. And that means that now our HTTP body needs to equal something in order to work, right? Well, get this. All you literally have to do is you have to go to your object and you just say, oh, I want this to be encodable. Oh, look at that. So beautiful. Oh, so dang pretty. Now it's encodable. Yeah, so all you have to do is just set your object to be encodable. And that's it. Literally, that's all you have to do. I mean, the way that you serialize your JSON is a little bit different, but overall, that's all you have to do. So what we'll do is now we'll go back to our view controller. And in here, it still does throw, so we still want it in here. We'll say let JSON body equals, and we're gonna do try JSON encode, JSON encoder. Yeah, we're gonna initialize that JSON encoder, and then we're gonna encode the value which has to be of type encodable. And since post is now encodable, we'll say new post, right? And then, okay, well, let's run it. Let's see what happens. It should be working. Because it is encodable now. I wonder if it just didn't save because I made that mistake with the file part. Yeah, see, it worked. Okay. Oh, no, it didn't. Or did it? Maybe it did. I don't know. Maybe. Well, it's running. Let's see what happens. Seems to be working. So we send. So now if we send, it should say this is sexy encoding, baby. Bam. Look at that. It's working. Okay, this is getting really confusing for me. All right, so let me just save this. And then we'll go back to my view controller. I'll do this. It's the problem with, there we go. It's working now. I don't know why. Maybe because I didn't save it. All right, so that's literally all you have to do. Now you have a post. Now that it's encodable, you can say JSON encoder.encode, and we are good. All right. So now we want to make things decodable, right? Well, guess what? All you have to do, go back over here, just say, oh, I also want it to be decodable. Oh, look at that. So beautiful. So now we go back over here, and then instead of doing JSON like this, what we'll do, instead of printing the JSON, what we'll do is we'll actually print the post object. So let's get rid of that. Bam. Let posted object or whatever sent, let's say sent post, right? Because that's what it is. We'll say sent post is equal to try JSON, and then instead of encoder we want decoder. Yeah, initialize it, then decode, right? Decode, and we have to specify what object is it going to turn into, right? So we have to say, well, we want a post, so let's say post, and we have to say post.self, and then the data we're gonna create this post from is going to be of type data, or is going to come from this data right here. So we'll just say data. So now we have the sent post, and we'll say print sent post. And so this will stop complaining. I have to go back, save it, product clean. Let's run it and see what happens. All right. So with the minor exceptions of Xcode being a little baby and crying and saying things aren't working when they really clearly are, it's working. Yeah. So now when we send it, what we'll be sending is a post, which is encodable, nice and clean. And then we'll be decoding it into an actual post. And when we print it, instead of being JSON, it will just be the post. So let's send post. Bam, post. See, we got back. Woo, look at that. Nice and sexy, nice, clean, tight, formatted. Woo, I like it. I like it a lot. All right, so that's the basics. That's all you really need to know. Encoding, decoding, simple as that. But if you are planning on doing this throughout all of your data models, and you're gonna have stuff that's encoded or decodable inside of decodable, well, then we have to do something a little bit more complex, which is just making sure each of those are decodable. So this is all you really need to know. But if you have a little bit more complex data, then feel free to tag along and follow me. Yeah, we're gonna do it. All right, so let's do this. So guard let URL equals, we're gonna just do all the same stuff that we already did, right? Else return. All right, so remember for this one, we're gonna do get users. So data's a little bit different, a little bit more complex, and I'm gonna show that to you right now. Users. So look at that. Yeah, so data is a little bit more complex. As you can see, there's an address which has nested data. There's a company that has nested data. Also, with the address that has nested data, there's a geolocation that has nested data. So there's nested inside nested. We're going to get into all of that stuff right here, right now, real quick. And also notice that this is not like standard JSON. Well, it is like JSON, but notice that it's an array of objects, right? So I'm going to show you how to do that stuff too. But first, let's get this page. So I'm gonna copy it. It's just the JSON type of code. Make sure you drop a S in there. /users. All right. And then we don't even need a request because this is a get method. So we'll do let session equal URL session dot shared, and then we'll say let task equal session dot data task with URL, obviously passing the URL, you know, cow data only. And then okay, so guard let data equal data else return. All right, and then we are going to convert that. First, we want to just make sure that we're getting all the data back, right? So we're going to do the same thing, JSON serialization, all that blah, 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 blah. So let's go ahead and do that. Do catch. You know, I don't handle those errors in these tutorials. Tutorials already long enough. I create movies, not tutorials. All right, so let's do let JSON equal JSON serialization dot. We want the reading options from data and no options there. Specify that it is try and then print that JSON. Yes. All right, after that, we just want our task to resume, baby. Yeah, let's do that. And then when we get our users, all we should be getting is the entire list of JSON that's going to be extremely nested and not very sexy whatsoever. No. See, look at, bam. Look at all that. Who wants to deal with that? Ain't nobody got time for that. All right. So what we're going to do is first we have a bunch of user objects, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to create users based off of this information right here. So let's do that. We'll just say new file, call this, or this one will be called user. Ha, spelled it right that time instead of just dropping it into file, right? Good job, Kyle. You're doing good stuff with your life. All right, struct. We'll call this user. We're not going to get into the encodable, decodable just yet, but we're not doing encodable at all for user, but yeah, we want to just get all these. Okay, so address is not your normal what do they call them? Like your normal data. It's not a primitive. It's not a primitive type, right? It's not a string. It's not an integer. It's like all this. It's a dictionary. So when you're doing decodable, you actually have to know what everything is. Now, I can't instantly decode address because even though all of these are, even though it's a dictionary of string with strings in it, this geo throws it off. So I would have to specify that it's any. So it's a dictionary of string and any, which means that I can't decode any. It has to be literals that we are decoding. So we're going to skip over address for right now. But we'll get into address in a bit, but we'll do everything else. Like company is just a dictionary of string and strings. So we can decode that and so on and so forth, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So let company be of type string, a dictionary of string and string, right? Let email, obviously of type string. Let ID of type int. let name of type string, and you don't have to do all of these. I could just leave it right here and we'll be done, but in case somebody is wondering, I'm gonna just go ahead and do them all because some of these questions are kind of funny to me, but whatever. All right, so let username of type string. Oh, also the important part is that everything is spelled exactly the same that you see it in here. If it's not spelled the same, then you will not be able, the decoder will not be able to understand what you're trying to do. So make sure that the properties that you're trying to parse them into are spelled exactly the same. Yeah. So let website of type string. All right. So now that we have each of these, laid out with the exception of address, because once again, it's a dictionary of string and any, we can parse everything else since they're all literals. So now all we have to do is just say, you know what, conform to decodable, right? That's all we got to do. And now when we want to decode it, we'll just remove all this. We'll say let user equal try JSON decoder, and then we're gonna wait for it to pop up. We want to decode the type that is decodable, so we want a user dot self, and we want to do that from the data. Now remember that this is going to take the JSON that we get back, and it's going to try to convert it into this object. Now, you think that might be the right thing to do, but remember, this is an array. It's not this, the response that comes back isn't a user itself, it's an array of users. So if you have an array of these types of objects, what you actually have to do is specify that it is an array. And this syntax looks super weird to me, but this is what you have to do. So you have to say that it's an array of user and then do dot self. Kind of weird, but that's what you got to do. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to print the user. So if all of that works, then when we run it, we should be good to go. Yeah. Boom, boom, All right, let's get into it. Okay, so this is going to be extremely messy because this users array, look at all the information in here. There's 10 users. There's a lot of information that's coming back. So it's going to look kind of messy, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to get users. It's going to print. Bam, look at that. Ew, poopy. All right, so that's the name of the project. I call it be decodable or be codable. And each user. So bam, user, and then yeah. And actually this should be called users to be proper. And then what I'll do to make it a little bit more readable is let's do this. For user in users, what we'll do is we'll print, let's just do like their first name just so that it looks clean, right? So user dot name. We'll just print their name, right? This way it'll be a little bit more clean, a little bit more readable. It'll just print out 10 names. So let's go ahead and run that one more time because what we're looking at is, it's a lot to take in. Oh yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. All right, get users, bam, just 10 names. Boom. Nice, clean, simple. All right, so Kyle, well, we want to deal with those nested objects now. Okay, well, let's do that. Okay, so in our user, I hope you guys are fine with me just put in all the nested stuff down here. I think it will be a lot easier for you to read other than having to switch back and forth between pages. So the first one that we want to do is company. Let's go ahead and do that. So we'll do a struct of type company. And these can be classes if you want. I always work with structs when I'm dealing with data like this because it's a value. But yeah, you could do classes if that's what you prefer, decodable. And then for the company, well, let's see what's in a company, right? Oh man, Kyle, what did you do? All right, so let's go to company. Let's see what's in a company. We have a name, a catchphrase, and a BS. Business slogan, probably. Name, catchphrase, and BS. So we'll do let name type string, let catch phrase of type string, and then let what are you doing? Let BS of type string. All right. So now what we can say is instead of this being a dictionary, this will actually be a company. Bam, look at that. Nice and clean. All right. But do you guys want to see this? You guys might want to see this, just how it looks so far, huh? So now what I'll do is I'll just go back to the view controller. Instead of name, I'll print the company. And now we should be getting company objects. I should have printed the company before, but whatever. You guys kind of get the point. Like I said, intermediate. You guys should know what I'm trying to talk about. Yeah. All right, get users. We should just get 10 companies, company objects. Look at that. Bam, company. Bam, 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 bam. All right, so now that we have the companies, what we want to do is get the address, right? And the address has nested into it a geolocation. So let's go ahead and do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to add that address in here. Let address. All right, and address will be, actually, let's not put it in right now. We'll put address right here. So struct address, and it will be decodable. And let's see what's in our address. So it has all of that stuff right there. So just for reference, I'm gonna say, let's just put it right here so that we can reference it. Drop this down so that we can see everything. So we have a street, a suite, a city, a zip code, geo, lat, long. Oh, well, geo is its own thing, so make sure you do that right. So let's do that. Let street of type string, let suite of type string, let city type string. What did I do? No, what did Xcode do? That's the better question. What did Xcode do? Let zip code. Oh, it's all lowercase. Zip code is 2 words though. Let zip code be a type string. And then well, we have a geo, but we can't do the geo yet. So let's go ahead and add the geo. So struct geo, bam, decodable. And now we're just gonna say, okay, well, geo has a lat and a long, so lat, type, do let, dude, let string, let lng type string, bam. All right, so now we can start doing all of our nesting. So we can add our geo, let geo be of type geo. And then we'll delete this. We can, since we have our address, we could do let address be of type address. And now if I go back to the view controller and print the address, well, let's see what we get. Address. Now we'll get, it's going to be pretty nested. It's going to look pretty nasty. But you'll be able to reference things really easily. So if I do get users, look at that. Look at how nasty that looks. Ew, that's nasty. All right, so look at street. We have the street, we have a suite, we have the city, zip code, and then for geo, notice that it is of type B code, like our project name dot geo, which is the struct name, and then the geo object is going to have the lat and the long. All right, so that's pretty much all you need to know. That's nested, that's encodable, that's decodable. If we wanted to, I mean, you can access all this stuff just like normal. So like address, and then we could get the geo.lat, and then we just print out all the latitudes, which is going to look like nonsense, but let's go ahead and do that because sure, why not? This is a Kilo Loco video where Kilo Loco goes over all the obscure stuff. Yeah. All right, so get users. It's not even users anymore. It's coordinates, and bam, look at nice, simple, easy, good stuff. Yeah. So that's all there is to it. Encodable, decodable, just, have your objects conform to it. And then, you just, depending on what you're doing, if you're doing encoding, you do JSON encoder. If you're doing decoding, JSON decoder. Simple as that. No more serialization. It's all done for you as long as all your objects are, straightforward, and you can convert each of those objects into literals or objects that contain literals that are also decodable, such as, address and street and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope that this video was helpful. That's encoding and decoding for Swift 4. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. Make sure you reach out to me on Twitter at kilo_loco. Give this video a thumbs up, like it, subscribe, and if you want the starter project and the finished project for this tutorial, then they will be available in the courses on kiloloco.com/p/YouTube, and that course is absolutely free, and you get you get the starter project, the finished project, and I'm going to be actually adding some exclusive content there soon, as soon as some of my time frees up. So be on the lookout for that. But as always, my name is Kyle Lee, and it probably isn't going to change. So yeah, that's always going to be the same. But Kyle Lee, aka Kilo Loco from kiloloco.com, and as always, code passionately. All right, see you later. Bye, guys.